For 2 weeks, I did a work experience placement at a graphic and web design company on the Isle of Wight called Wight365. They are a very small company with only 7 members and they focus mainly on web design, which is what I would like to get into, but they also do graphic design as well. On the first day I got there, they all spoke to me about what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. I haven't really thought much about it before, so it was really helpful, but they agreed that they thought I should go around all the different sections of the office to learn a little bit about everything. In the first week I worked in the graphic design area and I was given 3 projects. The first project I was given was to design a logo for a new development of the company which specialises in QR codes, and they were calling it QR Squared. I first ordered lots of drawings of ideas, then took them into Illustrator and started playing around with the different shapes and using patterns of the QR codes to incorporate into the design. I finally settled on a quite simple design using a Q and an R made into one shape and set inside a square. I then played around with different colours and fonts, and my final design is now being used for the actual website and all correspondence, which is really exciting. The next project was also a logo design for a company called White Cable, and it was to design a logo for their new section involving Home VoIP, which is a type of telephone system. I worked with the main designer on this, but the project wasn't finished while I was still there, but this was my idea. The final project I was given was to design 5 maps for Cowes Yacht Haven, which is a boatyard and an event centre. They were doing an event and needed maps put on their website to give direction for people who didn't know the area very well. During the second week of my placement, they offered me the chance to learn all about web design and web development. They asked if I would like to design and create my own portfolio website to show my work. First of all, I did some research into other designers' websites and did some designs myself. I decided to do just a simple one so I'll be able to develop it myself. This is the homepage. At the top is a slideshow with lots of different images, and at the bottom is 3 boxes with either graphic design, typography, or illustration. I then learned all about HTML and CSS for developing my website. It was very daunting at first, but once I got into it, it felt very rewarding seeing the results. This is the portfolio page for my graphics. There's a section for each of the different projects, which lead onto a separate page. This is an example with the Make or Break a Grid project. There's thumbnails and then larger images. This is the page for the aphorism brief, which I put the video onto, and a short description. This is the page for the Martin O'Neill Type 1-day workshop with thumbnails and then larger images and a description. And this is the page for the Papercode Direct Mail brief with thumbnails and larger images. And finally, this is the page for my illustrations. Overall, my placement was such a good experience for me. I learnt so much and enjoyed every minute, and I now have a much clearer idea of what I want to do.